Today, I want to talk to you about how fighting made me a better person. Now, first thing you got to know is I'm not actually a fighter. I do train mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and I've become friends with a lot of guys that fight, and I get to be a fight doctor every now and then, which means I go to the ringside at some of these fights, and if a guy gets a broken nose, a broken bone, a laceration, a concussion, I'm there to help treat them. Sometimes I have to decide if somebody can keep fighting or if, due to medical reasons, they need to go ahead and stop. Now, becoming friends with a lot of these fighters, they come to see me sometimes in the clinic. I'd like to think it's because I'm such a good doctor, but it's probably more likely because they don't have insurance and I treat them for free. But maybe we'll go with the first one. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, he had this saying, he said, "What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger." And that's true. But there's got to be a better way to getting stronger than getting punched in the face. So that's what I've been thinking about. But when I see these guys fighting, there's three things they really helped me understand. The first one is that comfort is a cage. We get stuck in routines. We have our day in, our day out. We are addicted to the dopamine of entertainment, motivated by fear and money. We're rats on a wheel. It's hard for us to get off our couch. It's hard for us to get out of ruts. It's hard for us to do something different with our lives. But we've got to break free from this comfort. One way you can do that is through fasting. And I'm not talking about like religious fasting or trying to lose weight or whatever. But you can set aside time that you dedicate. Maybe you spend too much time on your smartphone, social media. It can be a real difficult habit to break because we get addicted to that dopamine rush of seeing what's the latest post, how many likes did I get, etc. Did anybody think this was funny? I get that. But maybe it's not even so much that dopamine rush that's got you hooked. And the problem that I found that I had was anytime I had any downtime, like if I was in the line at the grocery store or sitting at a red light, I had to look at my phone. I had to see what was going on. It's not because I wanted to know or had some weird fear of missing out. It's just because I was bored. I had to fill that time. It was uncomfortable for me just to sit there alone with my thoughts. And this is really, really life draining. How many opportunities are we missing because we have to fill every single second of our time? How many original thoughts can we actually have when every thought we have is filled by somebody else? So try a dopamine fast. Try going without. Pick a day of the week and just put down your phone or just move your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever it is you're kind of always drawn to when there's downtime. Move it somewhere on a different screen so it's hard to get to. Pick a day, pick Tuesdays or Wednesdays or whenever, and just say, okay, this is my day, none of that. Maybe you have a full day where there's no television, no YouTube, no Netflix, no nothing. Maybe you don't listen to podcasts for a day. And you just get comfortable again being uncomfortable with your thoughts. Because look, you give up something that brings you pleasure in order to become the master and not the slave. About a year ago, I decided to give up coffee for a week. By the end of the week, I'd gotten through all the withdrawals. But I decided I was going to push it another week. So I went 2 weeks, and then I decided I'll go ahead, see what I could do. I pushed it for 3 weeks. By the end of those 3 weeks, I had so much confidence. I knew that I could do anything because I knew that nothing controlled me. And this may seem silly to you, but you got to understand, I drink a lot of coffee. I love coffee. And maybe it's an addiction, but it's just like this habit that just makes me feel good and happy. And I had no intention of just completely giving it up, but I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't controlling my life. Now, I've got a lot of patients who struggle with addiction, so I think they understand, where I'm coming from. You cannot live your life based on these hedonistic principles of just as much pleasure and as little pain as possible, because the pleasure is going to overtake you, run your life, and you're going to be a slave to it, whatever it is, and it's going to ruin you. You have to take control of your life. So sometimes you can do small experiments to break up your routine, to get out of a rut. Doing these small experiments, when you find that they work, they give you confidence. Now you can do something else. Maybe you thought you'd never be able to run, so you just say, okay, I'm going to give myself an experiment. I can't run I could never run a 3-mile race, because maybe you're just a couch potato. So you just say, okay, today, every single day, I don't care what the weather is outside, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes. And within that 30 minutes, at any point in time that I feel like running, I will run a little bit. Maybe it's just 5 seconds. But I'm going to do it 30 minutes a day, every day. And then maybe after a month of that, you say, okay, that was a good little trial. Now I'm going to run 10 minutes every single day. No matter what the weather is, I'm going outside, I'm running 10 minutes. If you can't do something for 10 minutes, then you don't need to listen to this. Now, the next thing I learned from these fighters was focus. Now, what you focus on makes you stronger, and what you neglect gets weaker. Everybody knows this. If you want to be a better fighter, you better focus on fighting. If you need to be a better boxer, you better box. If you need to be a better wrestler, you need to wrestle. If you need to be better at submissions, you better practice jiu-jitsu. You better focus. You're not just going to go to sleep one night and wake up an expert. You've got to put in time, effort. It takes mental stamina. It takes a mindset to get there. That mindset that you need is one that you can develop. You don't have to be like the most positive person, I bet you though, if you went to my clinic, and we've got like 5 docs, 3 nurse practitioners, about 20 employees. If you asked anybody, if you took a survey, who's the most positive person at that clinic, I guarantee you 100% of people would say me. Now, they might also say I'm the most annoying. I don't know. But my point is, you have to make it a point to have the right mindset for your job. Whatever it is. Whatever you're trying to accomplish. You may not be in charge of the end results. You've got no power over the end results. But guess what you do have control over? The beginning. How you get started, how you focus, how you set your mind to accomplish things. Now, the other thing I learned from fighters is time. Because when you ask anybody, what's the number one thing that keeps you from doing something you want to do? It's, I don't have the time. Time's an illusion. We've got time. Time is filled with all the things we fill it with. If there's something else you want to do, you make the time. But look, I'm not preaching at you because I've used the same excuse. Years ago, it's a long time ago, a buddy of mine wanted to run a marathon, and he wanted me to run it with him, and I said, okay, but I hated running. And this guy, he had a busy job, lots of kids, just like me, and I said, how do you have the time? He said, easy. I just get up an hour earlier than I used to. Bam. Case closed. He just did what was necessary to have the time. Maybe you have to give up some of your TV at night. Maybe you have to bring your exercise clothes with you to work. Maybe instead of taking an hour lunch break, going to the local restaurant, you pack a lunch. You get in a quick jog, you eat a protein bar. I don't know what you have to do. See? Maybe you're not a morning person. Maybe that's not the right answer to you, but that's okay. Because just you saying you're not a morning person doesn't mean you're not one. Because you're in control of that. The kind of person you are. I don't understand that talk when people say, I'm not a morning person. You are whatever it is you believe you are. And you can be whatever it is you decide to be. And so if you need more time, you make the time. That's what these fighters do. Most of these guys getting started, they have full-time jobs. And they're working and putting everything they have into their dream of fighting, of getting punched in the face. But they do it because every now and then, they get the opportunity to punch back. And to them, it makes it worth it.